What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Command and Console. My name is Jason. Today we are talking about the PlayStation 3, and because I've got this little space here now where I can actually play my retro games, I really got the PS3 itch, and I've definitely scratched it, guys, with the recent pickups for the collection. It's kind of turned into a weird kind of modern military shooter collection, and you'll see a kind of a trend in a minute of how that is transpired. But I found that the PS3 is super cheap to collect for at the moment. There are some heavy hitters in there that I would like to pick up eventually, but not right now. I'm going for those really cheap, like £1 or £2 games, for example. But anyway, let's get on to the recent additions to my PS3 collection. So the first game is a game called BlackSite, also known as BlackSite Area 51. This is a spiritual successor to the PS2 game Area 51. So it's not quite a sequel per se, but it is like in that same ilk, in that same vein. And I will say, fans of Killzone might find something quite good here, quite entertaining. I have enjoyed my time playing it. I haven't finished it yet. I will say that it is quite slow to really get going and real pushing forward with the narrative in it. There is a lot of plodding forward. There is a lot of kind of like dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue heavy moments in there. So if you just want all that action, this might be not for you, but it is quite a fun shooter, all things considered. The shooting is satisfying. The enemies are kind of varied and different. And I feel like, yeah, it's kind of almost like a lower budget Killzone in that regard. It gave me that kind of vibe in there, the shooting in it. So I really do recommend this one, BlackSite. It's really, really fun. And it's like about £1. It's really cheap as well. So I recommend that one. That's BlackSite. This next game is considered to be one of the worst first-person shooters of all time. Soldier of Fortune Payback. It's pretty terrible. But guess what? Because I like bad games, I kind of love it. It's super violent. The shooting is really satisfying when you can blow people to pieces and blow their arms off and stuff. It's super violent. It's generic as all generic games can be, really. It's pretty straight down the middle when it concerns the game. The audio visual is quite satisfying. The guns sound huge. The reload animations are quite satisfying to watch. Yeah, would I say play it? I mean, yeah, if you can get it cheap enough. This was £10 in CX, so I feel like it's a bit overpriced for what it is. And I will say, I don't know what the 360 version is like, but the PS3 version, there is some horrendous, and I do mean dire, frame drops. This game can drop down to about maybe 1 or 2 frames per second, and it is nauseatingly horrible to play. But they only last for about maybe a few seconds, if most. So it's not absolutely game breaking, but it does happen. So I do recommend this game if you can get it dirt cheap. It is some fun in there, but it does not hold up to the legacy of the Soldier of Fortune franchise, unfortunately. But Soldier of Fortune Payback is pretty fun, and I do recommend it to those people that can find fun in pretty bad titles. And I definitely found fun in this one. That's Soldier of Fortune Payback. So the next bunch of games are a series of games. I think these 4 games in particular are this franchise at its absolute peak, in my opinion. First game is Battlefield Bad Company. This game is a fantastic modern military shooter with an awesome cast of characters, amazing destructibility, and an awesome campaign that I absolutely love. I'm really happy to grab this for the PS3 collection. Super cheap as well, this game. I think it was like £1, complete with manual. Yeah, really happy to get this game on the PS3. Like I said, you can see a trend with this. Modern military shooters have become my thing on the PS3 at the moment because they're so cheap. They tend to be cheaper on the PS3 for some reason. But yeah, Bad Company is awesome. I highly recommend playing this one if you like your more kind of like destructive, more bombastic shooters. Yeah, this one's awesome. That's Battlefield Bad Company. Following this up, we've got, of course, Battlefield Bad Company 2. This is the game for me that put Battlefield multiplayer on the map for me. And I was always dead terrible at it. Absolutely dreadful at it. And the campaign is fantastic though. Really good campaign. It's on par with the first one, but I think overall I prefer the first one as a game versus this one. This one did become more of a multiplayer focused game, but the campaign is still fantastic. But yeah, again, this game was dirt cheap, about £1 on PS3, complete with manual. Yeah, well, you can't go wrong with these games in my opinion if you want your modern military fix. That's Battlefield Bad Company 2. We're keeping up this trend with this Battlefield nonsense, guys. We really are. Modern military shooters on PS3. What can I say? Battlefield 3. I remember this game really was the first, modern military shooter, especially on the multiplayer side of things, that really pulled me away from Call of Duty for a little while. And this is one of these games where I couldn't believe what I was looking at. It was one of the best looking games on the system. I think it might still be one of the best games on the system. The DICE engine really made these games look unbelievable. And yeah, this game was no exception. I remember absolutely putting loads of hours into the multiplayer. Absolutely loved the multiplayer. A different breed of multiplayer game versus Call of Duty, of course. A bit more tactical, a bit more team based. And yeah, it was loads of fun with my friends on this. Love this one. Is it the best of the bunch out of these games I've brought up so far with when it concerns Battlefield? It might be my favourite out of the bunch. It's got probably the most memories for me in this stack of Battlefield games in particular. But I just think it's fantastic. The campaign is a bit of a letdown on this one. It's nowhere near as good as the Bad Company campaigns, but it's still pretty good nonetheless. That's Battlefield 3. We close the Battlefield stack with some would argue the last good one, Battlefield 4. Now, I played Battlefield 4 on the PS4. It was one of the launch titles for the PS4 that I picked up when I got a PS4 back in 2013. So I don't know what to expect for Battlefield 4 on the PS3. I bought all these Battlefield games just to go through their campaigns, because I haven't played a good modern military shooter campaign in a long time. So I thought I'm going to go back and revisit some of the old Battlefield stuff. So yeah, Battlefield 4, the multiplayer was awesome. It was on par with 3 in my opinion. I love the multiplayer. I don't remember the single player that much. I think it was really short and I've forgotten about it really quickly. But I'm looking forward to giving it another go anyway. Battlefield 4, complete with manual as well. Yeah, I just wanted to get all these little PS3 titles and have a little Battlefield collection. That's Battlefield 4. So as you can see, we've got a bunch of modern military shooters there. Battlefield, Soldier of Fortune, and it just carries on, guys. I do want to get the last Battlefield title on PS3, Battlefield Hardline. That is one of the titles that I do want to get and have a little Battlefield collection. But we're going to move on to the other game. Next up in our modern military collection at the moment, we've got Sniper Ghost Warrior. Some people would argue this game is terrible, and I would like to agree it kind of is terrible, but it's that command and console kind of terrible. The jank that keeps giving. Yes, really enjoyed this one. I think the sniping's pretty decent. When you get into combat outside of sniping, it's pretty fun as well. I thought the visuals looked pretty good for the time. Yeah, I don't hate this one. I think it's pretty decent for a sniper game, and I would recommend it. It's pretty cheap as well, like £1, £1.50, something along those lines. So yeah, I recommend this one, Sniper Ghost Warrior. To follow up Sniper Ghost Warrior, we had to get the sequel, Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. Again, it was like £1 or £2. It wasn't expensive at all. I've not played the sequel, nor any of the other sequels. I've only ever played the first one. So I'm intrigued to see what they improve, what they expand on with this one. Let me know if you've played this one, guys, in the comments down below. I would like to know what I'm in for. Again, it's complete with manual. Yeah, Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. Yeah, I don't know what to expect with this one. I like the first one, maybe I like this one. That's Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. This hurts me. This hurts my heart, guys, because I grew up with this franchise. I loved it all the way back on the PS1. I picked up the 2010 reboot of Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor, man, that used to be an amazing World War II shooter on the PS1. You know, it goes all the way through to Medal of Honor, Frontlines and Rising Sun on the PS2. Love those games. And then we got this reboot, following the coattails of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Of course, we get Medal of Honor in more of a modern Eastern, Middle East kind of conflict. I remember quite liking this when it came out. It was no Call of Duty, don't get me wrong. I didn't think it was on par with that whatsoever, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was had a really fun campaign, and the multiplayer was really decent, all things considered. And I think this game kind of like gets forgotten when it concerns like modern, the modern military boom of like, the early 2010s. Yeah, I think this is a good one, and I'm really glad to get this in the collection. It does say it includes a HD version of Medal of Honor Frontline, but it's not on the disc. It's a download code, so I've missed out on that one. But it does come complete with manual, so that's always good. That's Medal of Honor 2010. Following up Medal of Honor 2010 with its 2012 sequel, Medal of Honor Warfighter. Yeah, this one I've not played. I remember it coming out and being absolutely just trashed by everyone that had played it. They said it pretty much takes control away from you at every opportunity, and it's only about 4 hours long apparently, the campaign. So that's a bit upsetting, but I just wanted to get it because I've got the first one, and I thought these games are dirt cheap, like £1, £1.50 each or something like that. No money at all. The only downside with this one is that this is when PS3 games stopped actually giving us manuals. So this doesn't have a manual, it kind of has a little pamphlet that tells you the controls or whatever. But it doesn't matter. I don't care, it's £1. Who cares? That's Medal of Honor Warfighter. This is not a modern military shooter, but it is kind of like a World War II shooter, but it's got supernatural implications. I put this in the video because it's a new game I've picked up. It's a shooter on the PS3, Wolfenstein, 2009. I love this game, man. Like, this game came out, I absolutely adored it. What a great reboot to the Wolfenstein series. Obviously, before this, we only had Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which came out in like 2001 or 2002, respectively. What a way to reintroduce people into the Wolfenstein universe, the alternate history of World War II, and the awesome protagonist BJ Blazkowicz. I can't even fucking say his name. But anyway, ignore that. This game is awesome. You get loads of weapons from World War II. You get loads of supernatural abilities in this as well. It's super violent. It's ungodly violent in this. And you just get to kill loads of Nazis in brutal and nasty fashion. Yeah, it just goes underappreciated, especially with the new Wolfenstein games over the last decade. This has really gone under the radar, I think. And I think it's one game you should look out for. It's creeping up in price. This was £8 in CEX. I'm sure in due time it'll be 15 quid. So get on this game as soon as you can, guys, because I think it's going to be one of those games that creeps up in price consistently. But I love this one. Are the newer Wolfenstein games better? I'd say yes, especially the two games, Wolfenstein The New Order and Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus. They're immaculately amazing FPS games. But this game deserves more love. It's awesome. That's Wolfenstein 2009. We can't talk about modern military shooters with two titles that really came ahead before Call of Duty went Modern Warfare. And I adored both these games when these came out. I played loads of the multiplayer. I played loads of the campaign. I played loads of the terrorist hunt modes. Fucking hell. This is when this series almost peaked for me. It was at peak. Rainbow Six Vegas. This game is tactical, squad-based, FPS, just awesomeness incarnate. It is so good. Even now, playing this now, it just feels awesome to play. The cover mechanics are great. The actual squad mechanics are awesome. And yeah, it's just so satisfying to play. It has got an awesome campaign in there. It looks awesome for the time as well. This was modern military shooting before Call of Duty. It was awesome. But yeah, Rainbow Six Vegas is awesome. I love this game. Of course, we're following up Rainbow Six Vegas with its sequel, Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Arguably the better game in the duology, I suppose. I love both of these games equally, to be fair. I absolutely adore these games. Awesome, like I said, like echoing what I said there. Awesome squad-based mechanics, awesome shooting. You've got all these weapons you can choose from. You've got awesome, like how to tackle encounters, whether they're putting in like a camera under the, if you want to breach a room, you can put cameras under the door. You can tell one of your squad mates to flank the other door. You can throw flashbangs in there. You can grenade the place. You can just kick the door in and go ham on these bad guys. This is awesome. Both of these Rainbow Six Vegas titles are amazing. So So I had to get these for the PS3, and they're so cheap. They're like £1 each, guys. Get them now, man. Loads of people are talking about the Xbox 360 and its basically online functionality, its online store, kind of dying, right? Sony's not going to wait too long before they do it with PS3, and that's when PS3 titles are going to go up in price. It's going to happen. It's happened for 360. Most of these games were like £1 each. Most of them were a tenner or under. Get them now, because those games that are already at like a tenner are going to rise up in price even more. You know, Soldier of Fortune Payback is a tenner. I wouldn't be surprised if that goes up in price. Wolfenstein is £8. I wouldn't be surprised if that goes up in price. So I implore you guys, get these games for PS3 as soon as you can, because I reckon we're going to have a PS3 spike just like we are going to have a 360 spike. If there's games you want for PS3, grab them when you can while they're cheap. I'm really happy with my pseudo modern military shooter collection. I feel like my PS3 has kind of become my whatever machine. Like it's kind of like a shotgun. It kind of just, but you know, it's kind of like spread shot everywhere. Like I'm really focused on PS2. I got a list. I'm focused. You know, unless there's games I forgot were on the system that I will buy anyway. 360. I'm pretty focused on what I want for 360. PS3 though, PS3, I'm just going to be like, whatever. If it's really cheap and it looks cool, I'm just going to buy it. That's it. PS3 is my whatever machine. And I've been really having fun playing some of these games on it as well. The system is still pretty fun to play on. I will say the UI and the loading and the deleting of stuff is really, really sluggish now. But I like to remind people that the hard drive in these machines are absolutely ancient at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these PS3s fail eventually, because the components and the hard drives and the disk drives are so old now that it's just, we're going to have a lot of dead machines soon. So it makes me wonder whether I should maybe think about taking it somewhere to get completely refurbished with new disk drives, new hard drives, and just have new components put in just to make it run a bit better. But let me know in the comments down below if you think I should think about maybe, you know, reviving these machines and putting in more modern hardware in there. Anyway, I'm rambling, my throat's going, been a little bit ill this week, so yeah, I thought I'd do some batch filming. I filmed 2 videos today. I'm dead. I'm just having fun having just weird collections and picking up games cheap while I can. It's super fun. And PS3 is definitely going to be my whatever machine. Whatever takes my fancy, at whatever time, at whatever price. Anyway guys, let me know any of your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, let's continue to build a whatever PS3 collection.